and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1870B, and today's date is May 17th, 2019, and the title of the episode is, The Call is Loud and Clear. Those who committed treason go directly to jail. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about being prepared. Now, we know there's natural disasters, and we know there's the deep state that likes to push a certain agenda. We know the deep state, they could do just about anything. Ask yourself this question. If the power went out for weeks, or your credit card was of no use, could you feed your family? Could you survive? If the answer is no, it's time to act. I like to use my Patriot Supply for my emergency food supply. You should too. These food kits include breakfast, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. So prepare with X22.com. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of the road here. Trump now is calling out as loudly as he possibly can, that anyone that has committed treason, they will be going to jail. And if you notice, he's continually doing this, and he's actually naming names now when he's giving speeches. And he's continually doing this and ramping this up. There's a reason for this, because something big is about to drop in the next couple of days. Now, yesterday, we talked about censorship and how the White House is allowing people to post and take screenshots of why they were censored. So they're recording and keeping a log, a database of everyone that was censored on all different platforms. Why do you think they're doing this? Because they're going to be putting together an entire database of everyone that was censored. And what do you think it's going to turn up? We all know. But what's very interesting is that Candace Owens, she took a screenshot and posted that she was suspended from Facebook for 7 days. She tweeted out the following: Dear @RealDonaldTrump, my @Facebook page has been suspended for 7 days for posting that white supremacy is not a threat to Black America, as much as father absence and liberal policies that incentivize it are. I am censored for posting the poverty rates in fatherless homes. Now, this is what she posted. This post goes against our community standards. It looks like something you posted doesn't follow our community standards. Candace Owens, Black America must wake up to the great liberal hoax. White supremacy is not a threat. Liberal supremacy is. Poverty rate among blacks, 22%. Poverty rate among whites, 11%. Poverty rate among married blacks, 7%. Do not let liberal supremacists convince you that white people are the problem at the same time that their policy encouraged 77% father absence rate in black households. Now, she's laying the facts out here, and she wants to know, where is the part where I made this up? Because I'm giving factual statistical numbers. And, of course, Facebook hasn't answered. They just suspended her. Now, President Trump, he released his 2018 financial disclosure statements. And this is from Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, which they both released this. But we know that they're going to say this is no way enough. We need more. Now, of course, he's still rejecting to releasing his tax returns. He still says they are under audit. But once again, there is no law that says he has to do any of this, and I believe that's why he isn't doing it. He's setting a new precedent. Because there is no law, he's not required to do it, and just because someone is asking you to do it doesn't mean you have to. And he's showing the world and the American people that, look, I don't have to do this if I don't want to. Yes, they can try to subpoena. Yes, they can do this, but they have no basis in asking for it. There is no law. Now, very interestingly, this is coming out of the Gateway Pundit, and a hat tip to Dee Manny and her internet sleuths. It looks like the Russian Steele dossier that the FBI used to spy on the Trump campaign, it seems that it might have been doctored. There is irrefutable evidence uncovered shows the original documents provided to the FBI were doctored. Now, the dossier itself was multiple pages long in various sections. One section in general indicates the document was edited. At the bottom of the page numbers are written in sequential order. And we have page 6, we have page 9. However, pages 7 and 8, there are no page numbers. So why would you write the page numbers down but not put 7 and 8? Which means somebody swapped these pages out, because no one would write the page numbers on all the pages and leave pages blank. And coincidentally, the one piece of information that appears on page 7 is the obviously discredited comment that there is a Russian consulate in Miami. Well, of course, they need to take that out. And it looks like someone might have altered this to cover this up. Remember, it's not the crime that gets you, it's the cover-up. And they're trying to cover up everything. Well, it looks like Bill Barr is out there, and he is saying, and this is a preview of his interview, where he's saying, listen, I'm looking at this stuff, and it is completely inadequate. So Barr said, I've been trying to get answers to the questions, and I found that a lot of the answers have been inadequate, and some of the explanations don't hang together. In a sense, I have more questions today than when I first started. Hammer said, what doesn't hang together? Barr said, some of the explanations of what occurred. Hammer said, why does that matter? Barr said, people have to find out what the government was doing during the period. If you're worried about foreign influence, for the very same reason we should be worried about whether government officials abuse their power and put their thumb on the scale. So he's telling everyone right here and then that there's something wrong. Now, because of everything that has been going on, it looks like Bill Barr is considering changing the Justice Department protocols because of their surveillance of the U.S. citizens in the investigation of the 2016 election. So Barr has confirmed that he was reviewing the Department of Justice rules that surrounded the investigation, and while offering no specifics on what changes could be on the way for the agency, he's saying that we're going to change the way we do business. He went on to say, government power was used to spy on American citizens. I can't imagine any world where we wouldn't take a look and make sure that was done properly. Just like we need to ensure that foreign actors don't influence the outcome of our elections, we need to ensure that the government doesn't use its powers to put a thumb on the scale. The same day Barr is talking about the rules, Trump tweeted out the following. My campaign for president was conclusively spied on. Nothing like this has ever happened in American politics. A really bad situation. Treason means long jail sentences. And this was treason. By the way, treason is in all capital letters. So Trump is already out there and he is saying, listen, those individuals, and he's letting the American people know, and remember, he's doing this on purpose. They're letting this information out a little bit at a time. He wants the deep state, the mainstream media, to use all their ammunition to try to spin why all this happened, because spying wasn't spying, it was investigation. He wants them all to do this. Why? Because he wants to trap them. He wants to expose them for peddling fake information, for not investigating what really happened. Because if you listen to all the individuals, they're saying this is on the up and up. We got the warrants, we got this, but they're not telling the American people that they got the warrants under false pretenses, that they were spying beforehand. Then they brought the dossier in to cover up the spying where they didn't have warrants. They left that part out, and he's allowing these people to trap themselves. Now, something very interesting is that Judge Sullivan, he has ordered the documents released on Flynn's case. Now, things are going to get really interesting in the Michael Flynn sentencing review. Judge Sullivan is asking the Department of Justice to provide the transcript of the 12/29/2016 call between Mike Flynn and Ambassador Kislyak. And it says, the transcripts of any other audio recordings of Mr. Flynn, including but not limited to audio recordings of Mr. Flynn's conversation with the Russian officials. Why is this important? Because it appears Judge Sullivan suspects the transcript of the phone call will match statements from Flynn to the FBI. Ergo, Flynn did not lie to the FBI. Now, this is coming out of the conservative treehouse. On Sunday, January 15, 2017, Vice President-elect Mike Pence appears on Face the Nation. John Dickerson said, "But there's a distinction between that feeling about the press and legitimate inquiry, as you say, that the Senate Intelligence Committee is doing. Just to button up one question, did any advisor or anybody in the Trump campaign have any contact with the Russians who were trying to meddle in the election?" Mike Pence, "Of course not. And I think to suggest that is to give credence to some of these bizarre rumors that have swirled around the candidacy." The incoming administration was under a false narrative siege created by the media. At the time, early January 2017, any contact with Russians was evidence of meddling election collusion with the Russians. Vice President-elect Mike Pence poorly answered the question from Dickerson from a very defensive position. The toxic media environment and Mike Pence speaking poorly during a Face the Nation interview now became a much bigger issue. Once Mike Pence made the statement that Flynn had no contact with anyone from Russia, any contradictory statement from Flynn would make Pence appear compromised. Michael Flynn is now contrast against Pence's false point without clarification. As National Security Advisor, Flynn was interviewed by the FBI on January 24th, 9 days after Pence made his comments. The day before the Flynn interview, January 23rd, 2017, the day before Flynn interview, Lisa Page says, "I can feel my heart beating harder. I'm so stressed out about all the ways this has the potential to go fully off the rails. Weird." Strzok replied, "I know. I just talked with John. We're getting together as soon as I get in to finish that write-up for Andy McCabe this morning." Strzok agrees with Page about being stressed that this could go off the rails. So what are they so nervous about? Let's continue. So it's the day before they interview Flynn. Why would Page and Strzok be stressed about this potentially going off the rails? The answer is simple. They knew the content of the phone call between Mike Flynn and Sergei Kislyak because they were listening in, and they were about to exploit the Pence statement to CBS. In essence, they were admitting to monitoring Flynn. That's why they were so nervous. They were planning and plotting with Andrew McCabe about how they were going to exploit the phone tap and the difference in public statements by Vice President Mike Pence. There's a good possibility Flynn was honest, but his honesty contradicted what Pence said on TV. And Flynn likely tried to dance through a needle without being overly critical of Pence. Remember, the alternative, if Flynn is brutally honest, the media now runs with a narrative about Mike Pence as a national liar. So within this case against Mike Flynn, prosecutor Brandon Van Grack later filed a cover letter attempting to explain the reason for the Flynn interview on January 24, 2017, and a delay in the official filing of the interview notes, the FD 302s, on February 15, 2017, and another edit on May 31, 2017. To explain the FBI delay, Van Grack claimed the 302 report inadvertently had a header saying draft document deliberative material. What the special counsel appeared to be obfuscating was a process of deliberation within the investigative unit, headed by the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, surrounding the specific wording of the 302 report on the Flynn interview, likely how best to word the FBI notes for maximum damage. In late 2018, prosecutor Brandon Van Grack was attempting to hide the length of the small group deliberations within the FBI. In hindsight, it seems he did not want the court to know Andrew McCabe was involved in shaping how the Flynn 302 was written. The interview took place on January 24, 2017. The 302 was drafted on the 24th and then later edited, shaped, and ultimately approved by McCabe on February 14th, and then entered into the official record on the 15th of February. Flynn was under investigation from the outset in mid-2016. The fraudulent FBI counterintelligence operation established by the CIA Director John Brennan had Flynn as one of the early targets when Brennan handed the originating electronic communication EC to the FBI Director James Comey on around July 31st, 2016. The investigation of General Flynn never stopped throughout 2016 and led to the second investigative issue of his phone call with Russian Ambassador Kislyak. October 20th, 2017, request from Weissman and Mueller aligns with the time frame where Special Counsel Team lawyers Brandon L. Van Grack and Zainab N. Ahmad were prosecuting Michael Flynn and cornering him into a guilty plea. So they trapped Flynn, they changed the 302s, and now the judge is saying, we want everything. We want the audio recordings, we want the original 302, and guess what? The original 302 is not included anywhere. Where is the original 302? There's rumblings right now that they destroyed it. But is anything really destroyed? Most likely not. Now, Trump tweeted out the following. It now seems the General Flynn was under investigation long before it was common knowledge. It would have been impossible for me to know this, but if that was the case, and with me being one of the two people who would become president, why was I not told so that I could make a change? So remember now, the Patriots on the offensive. Now they're asking questions. If you knew all this information, why didn't you tell me? They're trapping them in their entire lie. Trump continued with his tweets. New Fox poll, 58% of people say that the FBI broke the law in investigating Trump. He continued, will Jerry Nadler ever look into the fact that Crooked Hillary deleted and acid-washed 33,000 emails after getting a most powerful demand notice for them from Congress? My campaign for president was conclusively spied on. Nothing like this ever happened in American politics. A really bad situation. Treason means long jail sentences, and this was treason. Drain the swamp, make America great again. He's laying it all out there. He wants the mainstream media to pick up his tweets, to counter everything that he's saying, and to expose the fake news. And he's done this with the border, with the immigration. He's done this with Russian collusion. And now he's doing it for the next phase. He wants those individuals, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Eric Holder, Clinton, Obama, and it goes on and on and on. He wants all these people out there trying to defend themselves, using their ammunition and spinning it the way they feel it went down. Because they have the documentation. The Patriots have the documentation. They can spin it any way they want. But what's going to happen is as they keep speaking, they're going to turn out to be liars. And then the mainstream media is going to have two choices. Either to go back and say, well, why did you say this? Here's the documentation. Now, is this going to happen right away? No. But eventually it will. Because the mainstream media is going to get caught up in all of this. They're going to stay with their story with these people. When things start to fall apart, the mainstream media eventually will start turning on these people because they will have no choice, because they will be losing their credibility. And those individuals who stuck by these people, well, they're going to be brought up on charges. And we already see that everything is getting prepared for what is to come. And that is the IG report. That is the D-Class. That is everything. Now, out of BNL News, it says, breaking news. The White House has launched an active investigation into reports of collusion in 2016 between Ukraine and the DNC. Boom. Breaking. The Horowitz IG report is now in staff review and is being briefed to principals. Another boom. It is all coming down. Now, in regards to California, Trump threatened to cancel the $1 billion for the high-speed rail because he called out the governor, Newsom, saying, where is the train? Why are there delays? Why do you need more money? What is going on here? Well, it looks like he has followed through on his threat. He canceled the $929 billion grant that was meant to have funded a high-speed rail in California. And Governor Newsom is saying, yeah, we're not going to build this train here. It is taking way too long, costing too much money. And if you remember back in February of 2019, Trump tweeted out that he wants California to return the money to the federal government. You think that's going to happen? Most likely not. Now, Trump unveiled his major legal immigration reform proposal, and the proposal doesn't change the number of people who obtain permanent residency on an annual basis. The measure instead focuses on the kind of migrants that will be eligible for permanent resident status by shifting away from the random visa lottery and limiting the kinds of relations eligible for legal migration through family ties. Trump proposed to replace the visa lottery system with a merit-based approach that is already being used in countries such as Canada, New Zealand. The new points-based system would rank candidates based on age, level of education, and technical skills. The system would award points for migrants who are qualified for high-wage jobs, have job offers in the United States, who have plans to create jobs in the country. Future immigrants also will have to demonstrate financial self-sufficiency, knowledge of the English language, and pass a civics exam. Trump said the following: "Our proposal fulfills our sacred duty to those living here today while ensuring America remains a welcoming country to immigrants joining us tomorrow. We want immigrants coming in." Now, the United States always wanted immigrants coming in. The country was created this way, but we want those who are going to benefit the country, and this is called a vetting process. And going through this vetting process, this new process that he's proposing, we're going to get the cream of the crop. What will happen to the country if we get the cream of the crop? The country will explode. And I don't mean like boom. I mean it's going to explode in industry, manufacturing, and everything else. And under the current legal immigration, 12% of immigrants receive permanent residency status based on skills and merit. The new proposal aims to increase the skill and merit ratio to between 57 and 60%. So this is very, very good for the country. Now, Trump has given a warning to illegal immigrants that are in this country. He tweeted out the following: "The Democrats now realize that there is a national emergency at the border and that if we work together, it can be immediately fixed. We need Democrat votes and all will be well. Border Patrol is apprehending record numbers of people at the southern border. The bad hombres, of which there are many, are being detained and will be sent home. Those which we release under the ridiculous catch and release loophole are being registered and will be removed later. All people that are illegally coming into the United States now will be removed from our country at a later date as we build up our removal forces as the laws are changed. Please do not make yourselves too comfortable. You'll be leaving soon." So he's already saying those people who are here illegally, guess what? You're going to be leaving very, very soon. The other thing that Trump is doing, he is notifying 500,000 plus employers they have workers with bogus Social Security numbers. They do not match the names. So where do you think these people got the Social Security cards? You think it's the illegal aliens where they got on the black market Social Security cards, used them to go to work, and now they're being caught? I mean, this move is reminiscent of Ronald Reagan, who in 1986 signed into law the Immigration Reform and Control Act that put the onus on employers by making the act of knowingly hired undocumented people a criminal offense. Since March, the Social Security Administration has mailed out no-match letters to more than 570,000 employers telling them that, listen, there's a problem in your company. These Social Security numbers do not match these names. Do something about it. Now, up in Norway, we talked about how there's peace talks going on. The Venezuelan government said, yes, we have representatives up there. The opposition has representatives up there. And it looks like Juan Guaido has confirmed this. He has sent delegates to Norway to join an attempt by Oslo to mediate the Venezuelan crisis. So it looks like there are peace talks happening right now to shut this whole thing down in Venezuela and iron everything out. Remember, most of the people under Juan Guaido who are with him, they're either in jail right now or hiding in embassies. The entire movement completely fell apart, and they're completely exposed right now. We see out in Iran, 2 more warships. They traveled to the Persian Gulf, the USS McFaul and the USS Gonzales. They're both there. They're Navy destroyers. And again, Trump is using this to put pressure on Iran. And Bolton and Pompeo are out there because they are war hawks and they are believable that they will do something, and they are pushing their agenda. Trump wants them to do this. Now, are we going to war? No, we are not going to war. Bolton and Pompeo are out there to make everyone think we're going to war. I know the deep state, the mainstream media, they're out there. War is on the horizon. Ships are heading out there. Well, again, what is Trump doing? He's exposing the mainstream media, exposing the neocons, the deep states. Think about what he did with North Korea. Wasn't the mainstream media out there telling us every day that we're going to war? And there was peace. We see the Iranian Foreign Minister Zarif. He's out there and he is begging Russia and China to help by keeping the nuclear deal. They want them to talk to Europe and say, listen, we need everyone together here. They're becoming desperate. Why are they becoming desperate? Because they know they're caught. They know that there's a problem. Now, Dianne Feinstein, it seems that she's making calls to the Iranian government. I mean, everyone is getting involved here. Gee, what are they so afraid of? And again, they shouldn't be calling anyone in any other government to tell them what to do. Now, Rouhani is saying, listen, if Europe doesn't do what we want, the entire nuclear deal will collapse. And Trump tweeted out the following: with all the fake news and made-up news out there, Iran can have no idea what is actually going on. And he's absolutely right. The mainstream media, the deep state, and everyone calling Iran, nobody knows what's going on. And I do believe that eventually what's going to happen is that Iran is going to say, you know something? This is not going to work out for us. The deep state is no longer in power. Trump is in power. He's turning the screws. He's in line with Xi Jinping and Russia. It's time to say, okay, let's talk about a new deal. And I do believe a phone call will be coming very, very soon. Now, something very interesting with Hillary Clinton. She tweeted out the following: in 2019, every day is Endangered Species Day. We have to act now to prevent the loss of 1 million species over the next few decades, losses that would have a profound effect on human beings. Now, do you really think all of a sudden she took the time out to say that in 2019, every day is Endangered Species Day? No, what she's really saying right now is that they're in trouble. This is like a coded message to everyone. We are in trouble. In 2019, we're endangered, and our way of life, the way we created it, it's going to be coming to an end. And every day it gets worse and worse in the year 2019. Think about this for a second. Now remember, we've been talking about how the deep state, they're going to have another event. And if you look at the other part of the tweet, it says, we have to act now to prevent the loss of 1 million species over the next few decades. Losses that would have a profound effect on human beings. I wonder what that really means. And it seems like maybe they're pointing to another event. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.